Glaybo.
Yo, morning. We in
What's
the
the word,
building.
baby?
Oh, you want your business school type, got a presentation type behavior.
Yeah, man, I was feeling it today.
Okay.
And it's not even really about the show. You feel me? It's just feeling. Sometimes you just feel like you gotta throw something on,
Yeah, okay. Go
like
ahead,
throughout the day. You
go ahead and throw that NCAA ring on too while you at it. Oh, you cut out.
how when I think about how we used to dress back in the day, and I don't
Oh,
want to make anybody feel. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
How people used to present themselves, and it was just a different. You know what I'm saying? It was just a
Yeah.
different energy, different perception.
Yeah.
Like, you know what,
Look,
man? I've been telling myself, like, who are the people? I remember how it used to make me feel when my dad had on a suit.
yeah, like he was about to go handle something.
And it's like, we don't have that anymore.
No, we got
So
the
it's like,
the beanie.
Like, cool to dress up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Going to dinners, like how people used to dress, used to wear the jacket, all that. I'm like, man, we need to bring that back.
Yeah, you on your Kev Sam.
That's exactly what I'm on.
Yeah, Uncle Kev said it.
That is precisely what I'm
on. He said it.
Feel me?
He said it.
Trying to look for the best spot to put this mic.
He definitely said it.
My sound?
Yeah, it was going in and out.
Is it good now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, it's probably, I thank you. It's because I had the mic adjusting that. My bad. I should be good with the mic now, right?
Yeah, I hear you fine now.
All right. Y'all let me know in the chat if I'm good. If I'm good, Grand Rising, do all y'all know what it is, man. Maybe let me put the headphones on so I'm not being too much of a disturbance. But how's everybody's day going? We got bro, BK been sending me stuff. I got a long clip, bro. I don't know if you can look notes, but got a dope video. Hold on, turn this music off, bro. Turn that. Every time I turn the music on, like I need it for the little initial Grand Rising, but other than that, I'm good. But we got a couple good videos, bro. A couple good videos that almost sent me down a rabbit hole yesterday. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay.
Almost sent me down a rabbit hole. And I waited because I said, you know what? Let me explore that with the team. Because sometimes you gotta wait to go down that rabbit hole with your team to make sure you're good, and make sure that you come out alive, to make all these things.
Yeah. Cat's got to grab a shovel.
You feel me? Just to make sure I don't go too far left, too far right. All right, Critical Thinking is in the building. Shout out to Critical. Good morning. We got Tube Savage in the building. How is that even a question at this point? He's talking about the title of the show, Israel, Mossad, friend or foe. I'll be honest. I don't know if it is a question. I think it's more the people that aren't willing to ask the question. That so many people just don't know what the Mossad is. So many people don't really do a deep dive on our relationship with Israel. And this documentary that I saw yesterday that I want to share with y'all, they broke it down in a way that even I was sitting back like, damn, this is a little bit new. I didn't know that there were all these connections, and it was just so like out front and there, and all this stuff was hidden to us. So I think that's more of the issue where, they try to keep us ignorant and don't even want us to even ask the question about Mossad, or us to even know about Mossad. So I guess we're going to learn about it today. Shout out to Unc in the building. Good morning, Grand Rising to all. Give us just a second and we should be off to another wonderful show. I hope everyone had a productive evening. May the blessings of the universe always be at your door. I need that every day, Unc. I need that energy every day, man. Definitely appreciate that. Critical wrote, the very nature of the Jewish religion and indoctrination makes them xenophobic and only self-serving the cause. Rest of us are tools to be used and discarded at will. Not sure ethno-religious groups can, hold on, we got to finish this. Ethno-religious groups can, be separated. I got you. Finn, shout out to Finn in the building. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Marcus Aurelius. I appreciate the Marcus Aurelius starting the day off with the wisdom, the wisdom and perspective. Definitely. Let's keep going.
Finn 74 said I got to get my shirt and tie tomorrow. Okay,
shirt and tie. Bro, I'm just. That's just the energy I was on, bro. That's why I didn't say nothing to you. I ain't want to pressure you one way or another. Everybody, I may be in pajamas tomorrow. Who knows, man? Easy, brother. Shout out to Antonice. Early, great morning, gang.
What's good, gang? For sure.
Easy, brother. Why y'all don't be liking the video? That's what Antonice said. Why y'all don't be liking the video? We gotta like the videos.
Oh yeah,
let's like the videos. Anthony said he on professor today.
Professor Dak in the building.
Man, reason why we rational people separate church and state. Dress how you feel. Yeah, y'all always giving. I swear we could just go off the comments and have a whole show.
Yeah, we really could. Like, we don't even need a video or nothing. We could just really ride with the group.
We really could, man. Appreciate y'all. As we and everybody else has said, please make sure that y'all like. It's going to help boost the algorithm. We want as many people in the building having this conversation as possible. Shout out to Wet Nets.
What's up, Wet Net?
He said what he wrote. Good morning to all except mosquitoes, man. Do mosquitoes have a purpose in this world? Wait, was that an I see what Wet Nets was trying to do. He saw the title of this. Nah, let me see. I was about to sucking us dry, sucking our tax dollars dry. They're mosquitoes. No, I'm joking. I was about to make a joke that. Oh man, who are the mosquitoes to America? Nah, let me stop. Let me stop before I get in trouble. BK said that, not me.
Nah. My hands up. Don't shoot.
BK said that, man. Well, you said you didn't see the episode or the documentary. Maybe you did.
Okay.
All right. So we got a lot on the plate, and we're definitely going to tap in. We're going to talk about jobs, different things. We got a combo around with the Ford CEO recently came out and said regarding mechanics. We got the video of the day. This is going to be the Mossad friend or foe video, and there's going to be a lot of videos in between as well as that. So we got a few things to cover, cuz we got a few things to cover. I don't want to take too much time, but first and foremost, how's your day going?
It's good, man. I'm feeling energized. I went ahead and started chopping up we started prepping up, getting ready for the Thanksgiving vibes. So I'm gonna smoke a turkey this year. First time.
Gonna smoke a turkey?
Yeah. So I'm already getting prepped up, getting ready. I'm nervous too, though. I'm sleeping a little nervous. Then I'm doing the lobster macaroni. So yeah, I'm contributing this year. It's a big year for you, boy.
So I like that, bro. I like that.
I have to tap in with your brother, Big Just Brown Butter Kitchen.
Brown butter. Hell yeah, he made they made food for the event that we had on Saturday at the church, and everybody was just
in awe.
Yeah, and it's intentionally we didn't want to have the normal fried chicken, fried fish, all that. We wanted to have some grilled herb chicken.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Some herb. Yeah. However I forget the exact terminology of it. We had that. We had some string beans. So we had the veggies. He made an amazing baked ziti. Rocket. Okay. Yeah, I'm still nibbling on that. And, but yeah, this is the time. This is bulk season. Bulk season has arrived. So for y'all, this is the time. If you're gonna get those calories in, make sure you get them in now.
Yeah, make sure you have a warm hibernation this off season.
Right. All right. Let's if it's okay with you, cuz we will get right into it. I kind of want to feed off of yesterday with this Jonathan Pollard guy. I don't think that it's been getting the attention that perhaps it should. Now, this is The Spy, the one that was caught. I think this shows a lot of the relationships and the dynamics, I should say, between us and Israel. And I don't think we could let this go. I don't think we could let this go because I don't think that what I was thinking is, could you imagine if the roles were reversed?
Of course.
How would Israel feel if we had our spy and we were celebrating our spy, giving information from Israel to America? You know, how would they treat that person? And I didn't even realize that Pollard actually came back to the United States to do an interview.
Oh, that interview was here.
So this is what I want to show you. We're gonna go through a couple different interviews and remind me. So sometimes I forget that I'm showing different videos, so I want to make sure let me know if I'm playing certain clips of the same video. But I want to start off with this video right here. Let me get the screen share for y'all. I'm gonna start off here. I don't think we saw clips from this one yesterday. Does this look familiar? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna take us down a whole journey of this. We need everybody locked in, focused, ready to go. So hold on. We got a new comment. And then Mossad, I don't know, but I appreciate the comment either way. And it looks like you're new tapping in, so definitely appreciate you supporting. Mossad isn't friend or foe to the U.S. Their sole purpose is to protect Israel. Nothing else matters to them. Read their mission statement. If their needs align with ours, they'll assist. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah,
that's exactly how I'm seeing it. So let's take a look at it and see if we can open up some our eyes to things that perhaps we may have known, perhaps we didn't. Maybe we get a new perspective. But yeah, that's where I stand on it right now. We'll see if it changes based on after we review these videos.
Okay.
Jonathan Pollard. So if you watched the Friday show, you would have known Jonathan Pollard, a convicted traitor to the United States. He was an American citizen. He was working for the U.S. security establishment. He sold secrets to Israel. Israel sold many of those secrets to the Soviet Union, endangering a lot of U.S. national security imperatives at the time. He was caught. He was convicted. He spent some 30 years in the United States prison system. He was released. After his release, he was actually granted special release from his parole conditions by the Trump administration, and Miriam Adelston herself had her jet fly him to Israel, where he got a hero's welcome. He's attained citizenship there. While he's been enjoying his time in Israel, his country that he has chosen himself, he, in fact, recently in July, got an invitation from the United States Ambassador Mike Huckabee. So he set foot back on U.S. soil in the U.S. Embassy of Jerusalem. And while he was there at the U.S. Embassy of Jerusalem, he confirmed his meeting with Mike Huckabee. He thanked Mike Huckabee for advocating for his release while he was a convicted traitor to the United States. And perhaps they discussed a few other things. And we just wanted to give everyone a taste of who Mr. Pollard is. So here he is in a recent interview where he says that if the United States threatens a ceasefire on Israel and forces them to accept a ceasefire, they should consider nuking the United States of America. Let's take a listen.
I said, well, I believe that the Biden administration, as I called it, did threaten us. But I said, you're mistaken if you think there's never a choice. There was a choice. He said, well, what? Is it to have our weapons cut off? I said, no, let me bring you back to October 1973, during the Yom Kippur War, when Henry Kissinger instituted an arms embargo against us. He stopped the aerial resupply of our army at that point to extract diplomatic concessions from us. And what happened? What happened was an A-4 Skyhawk was parked at Tel Nof Air Base with some interesting weapons under its wings. And we told the Americans, take your eye in the sky and take a good look at the airplane that's on that runway. And the next day, the airlift started. So the guy that I was talking...
Which airlift?
To Israel. The arms airlift.
So in other words, we threatened their...
We threatened to use unconventional weapons. I'll leave it at that. And so he said, is this what you want us to threaten now? I said, absolutely. Except this time I want us to go forward with it if necessary. If they think we're bluffing, we go forward with it. Look,
wait, some people might look at this and hear you saying these things and say, he's a dangerous dude. You know, he's he could, blow up the entire Middle East.
Well, I guess people really haven't been keeping their eyes open since October 7th because the whole Middle East has blown up.
Yo, I don't know if everybody peeped that, because the first time I heard it, I had to listen to it again. But he's saying that they've already made a threat to us when we were holding our arms, pretty much our support to give them military weapons. And they made a threat to us. And then the next day, we went right back to supplying them with military arms. So I wanted to take a quick pivot to this other video very quickly, just so we can understand who Mike Huckabee is, what his thoughts are when it comes to Israel, and perhaps it'll allow us to make sense a little bit more of what I just heard, and then thinking that Mike Huckabee visited him, and it makes no sense to me. So let's take a look at this real quick. Let me share this tab, play this video.
I get asked all the time, because I'm a Christian, and they say, well, why are you so supportive of the Jewish people? I said, you can be Jewish, you don't have to have anything to do with Christians, but you can't be a Christian and not understand that your entire faith is built on the foundation of Judaism. So for Christians, we look at this as an obligation, a moral debt that we must repay. And therefore, I don't understand anyone who says, I'm a Christian, but I don't really want to support the Jews. Well, how can you do that? But it is not the view of those of us who are what I would call biblical believers that accept that what the scripture says about the Jewish people. In Genesis 12, those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. It gets pretty simple. I say there's a miracle every day in this country. I get asked all the time.
That's his mindset.
That's the energy, huh?
That's his mindset.
That's the energy.
So I wanted just to serve as kind of a lead off into this longer video that we're going to take a look at. That's going to educate us a bit more on the history between America, Israel, exactly who Mossad is, and it's a dope video from Forgotten History, and I think this is going to set the tone, perhaps, to a lot of Americans on the dynamics of this relationship and moving forward, how we vote for our politicians. This has gotten completely out of hand. When Mike Huckabee is sitting here saying that the foundation of Christianity is on Judaism, it's almost as if, let's say that there's a problem in this world. Let's say that there's a problem. And you and I come together, BK, and we say, hey, we're going to solve it. The problem in this world is called Project Red. I don't know, whatever. The problem is called Project Red. So we start our solution to Project Red, and we call it Project Blue. Project Blue, you can say, was created out of Project Red, but perhaps it was created in a way that we did not like Project Red, or we wanted to rid ourselves from something associated with Project Red. So therefore, Project Blue was created as an alternative. I don't know exactly how most biblical Christians, or whatever that means, most Christians feel about their religion. And perhaps because we've been indoctrinated with this word Judeo-Christian, we grow up thinking that the two are aligned. But whenever I hear a Jewish person discussing Christianity, it seems like their affiliation to Christians is a lot different than a Mike Huckabee and a Ted Cruz's affiliation with Israel. It seems pretty one-sided. Like the respect that is given by Mike Huckabee for Christianity or for Judaism is not the same in return. So I'm always a little skeptical, or a lot skeptical, of these one-way relationships where one side's praising the other while the other side looks at them as if, if you look at what the Jewish scriptures say about Jesus, I don't see how any Christian can think how Mike Huckabee thinks about Judaism. It's like it reminds me of, you think this is the same God serving both people? Like it doesn't seem like it to me.
Right.
So
it's given slavery given, you know what I mean, kind of that perspective where it's just like, hold on, we worshiping the same person that's telling you to enslave me and I should obey you. We're serving the same God. We're serving the same belief system. So it's almost like, yeah, similar vibes.
Right. I'm getting ready to look up. Hold on. Don't Jewish people believe Jesus? I'm looking something up because I don't want to repeat it before, even though I've looked it up before. Some of this stuff I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I was getting ready to go to the Talmud to reference how they look at Jesus, but I'm going to hold off on that. Let's get into this longer video. And yeah, like I said, this is going to be one that I hope that we learn a lot from and gain some perspective from. So let's take a look at this. And you guys, of course, like, and please be giving your comments. We'll make sure that we're paying attention to them. And shout out to Forgotten History. I do want to give them a lot of credit for this video. Hopefully they're okay with us reviewing it. I'll also make sure that I include their link in the show so you guys can go directly and watch their documentary, because I definitely think it's something worth watching. And they have a lot of other dope stuff on their channel as well that you may want to check out.
So yeah, I guess broad question, like what has been your experience while at the agency, talking to other case officers, working with the Israelis? What stands out?
My experience is universally negative. Universally negative. I've never had a positive encounter with Mossad. I have never met a CIA officer who has had a positive encounter with Mossad. Because the Mossad doesn't give two shits what you think or what you are trying to focus on in your job. They care only about Israel.
Born in 1949, in the shadow of Israel's bloody war for independence, the Mossad was built to ensure the young nation's survival at any cost. From hunting Nazis like Adolf Eichmann to Operation Wrath of God, a relentless campaign of revenge, to the daring raid at Entebbe, the Mossad forged a reputation as the world's most feared intelligence agency. But survival has a price, because behind the heroics is another story, one of espionage against its closest ally, stolen secrets, bloody cover-ups, and even questions about America's darkest day. So how far will the Mossad go to protect Israel, even if it meant betraying America? What secrets has our ally taken from us, and why does Washington look the other way? And when whispers tie the Mossad to 9/11, do we dare ask if they're true? This is the story of the Mossad, friend or foe.
Hello, I'm Mike Droberg, Marine Corps veteran and filmmaker, and we will try to answer these questions on today's episode of Forgotten History.
They got me not sure if I want to play it on the
In
intro. Got it all
1948,
spooky.
the state of Israel was born in fire. Within hours of declaring independence, the armies of Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq descended on the tiny new nation. For Israel's 600,000 Jews, survival was far from guaranteed. 6,000 lives were lost, 1% of the population, but against all odds, Israel endured. And in that crucible of war came a lesson carved into the national psyche. Israel could not survive without intelligence. Even before independence, Jewish underground groups had built secret networks. The Haganah, Irgun, and the Stern Gang all ran their own spies and saboteurs. The Haganah's intelligence arm, known as the Sheh, became the model for something larger. David Ben-Gurion, Israel's first prime minister, believed that a nation born in blood needs more than tanks and planes. It needs eyes, ears, and knives in the dark. So in December of 1949, Ben-Gurion created a new organization, the Institute for Coordination, the Mossad. Its first director was Reuven Shiloah, a quiet diplomat with a clear mission to gather intelligence abroad, run covert operations, and to protect Jews everywhere in the world. From its earliest days, the Mossad lived with two faces. To Israelis, it was a shield against annihilation. To others, it was a dagger, an espionage service without borders. And that dual identity would make Israel legendary and leave America wondering whether it was an ally or a target. In its early years, the Mossad won admiration even from its enemies. Its most famous triumph came in 1960 when it tracked down Adolf Eichmann, one of the architects of the Holocaust, hiding in Buenos Aires under a false name. They snatched him off the street, smuggled him to Israel, and put him on trial. Survivors of the camps watched as justice was served. Eichmann was convicted of crimes against humanity, war crimes, and crimes against the Jewish people. And in June of 1962, he was hanged, the only civilian execution ever carried out in Israel's history. His ashes were scattered at sea, so no trace of him would remain. With that, the Mossad's legend was born. For the rest of the 1960s, Israel was not just fighting wars, it was quietly building the ultimate weapon, the atom bomb. Its nuclear reactor at Dimona was under construction, and the United States was officially opposed to Israel developing nuclear arms. But that didn't stop the Mossad. Suspicion soon fell on a company in Apollo, Pennsylvania, the Nuclear Materials and Equipment Corporation, or NUMEC. Over the course of a decade, hundreds of pounds of highly enriched uranium went missing. U.S. intelligence officials believed that it had been smuggled to Israel to fuel its secret weapons program. To this day, the case has never been solved, but the rumors remain. America's nuclear stockpile was raided, not by Moscow, but by its closest ally.
I gotta pause it there real quick. All this talk about Iran,
Right,
the nuclear weapon.
Right, because we was turned on them.
What's the only way to justify this? There's only a few ways. Like, is it just okay for white countries to have nuclear weapons? Is it not okay for brown countries? I'm just looking at it from afar. How do Americans look at this? How do people around the world look at this?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it okay for them to have it? Why is it okay for them to steal the material that they need from us to make a nuclear weapon? Like, I'm just wondering. How do we look at this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then people wonder why we say that Israel has an influence over our government that a lot of Americans are not comfortable with.
Because it's true.
This is spooky, bro. This is spooky because I've been thinking about it for the last year or so. That, matter of fact, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent. Let's keep going. But this is just like, when we think about it just from this standpoint, we justified dropping a bomb on Iran because they were developing their nuclear weapons. Why is it okay for one group to develop nuclear weapons and not another? And I've heard a lot of people, and I'm not sure if we're going to get into this comment or this video, where people are saying that it's almost okay for Israel to have nuclear weapons because we have similar cultures. And they always go to, well, women have rights in our country. So therefore, because women have rights in our country and in America, and that's more similar to what Israel is compared to what some of the Arab states are, even though all this is just hearsay when it comes to us, because we don't know what the rights are of women in these places. Mm-hmm. I just hear it and people say it and I just take it, okay, all right, so I guess women don't have the rights in these countries. Does that just mean that we align ourselves with Israel in every little thing that they do? We have to support them in doing it because the other countries, they don't allow women to vote? just based on that. So these are just some of the things that we're gonna, cover throughout this documentary. And I saw Finn just write the USS Liberty. We get into the USS Liberty in this documentary, so just stay tuned.
Then came 1967. In the middle of the Six-Day War, the USS Liberty, a U.S. Navy intelligence ship, was stationed in international waters off the coast of Sinai. Survivors recall Israeli jets flying over the ship the day before, close enough that the pilots waved from the cockpits. A massive American flag was flying from her mast. To the men aboard, there was no question their identity was clear. But the next day, that same ship came under fire. Israeli jets strafed the deck with rockets and napalm. Torpedo boats closed in, blasting holes in the hull. By the time it was over, 34 Americans were dead and 171 were wounded. Israel claimed it was a case of mistaken identity, that the Liberty had been confused for an Egyptian vessel. Survivors say that story is impossible. The ships looked nothing alike, and the Liberty's flag was flying large enough to be seen from miles away. So why the attack? Some believe the Liberty was intercepting Israeli transmissions about its secret nuclear program. Others say it was silenced to cover up the killing of Egyptian prisoners of war. And still others argue it was a false flag, an attempt to sink the ship and frame Egypt, dragging the U.S. directly into the Six-Day War. We may never know the answer, but what we do know is this: American blood was spilled, and Washington buried the truth to preserve the alliance. Washington accepted Israel's apology, pocketed compensation payments, and moved on. Then
Glay, your sound.
Israel's big homie is bigger than
Glay.
America.
Your sound's good.
You can't hear me?
Mm-mm.
You can't hear me. Y'all can hear me now, right? Y'all can hear me. All right. Israel's big homie is bigger than America's big homie. That's how I look at it. Or if they got the same person running both countries, that's another thing.
It's still off, Glay. Or is it me?
I think it's you, bro. I think it was off, but I think it's.
If you can hear, throw a thumbs up in the chat.
Yeah.
Because I can't.
Yeah, they can hear it. They can hear it. Are we good? Glay, are you there? Yo, can y'all just let me know if y'all can hear me? That way I can just keep going. All right, nah, they're good. I don't know what's up with yours, Glay. But yeah, I already said it. So y'all heard me the whole time. But I don't know if it's the same person that's running America, that's running Israel, and they're just looking at this like, hey, we need this relationship to work, and we just use America, we drain America's resources, do all these things, and Israel is just where we want to create, where we want to build. This is an important place for us. It's the Holy Land. I don't know what it's looking like, but for America to be always presenting ourselves as the greatest country in the world, the most powerful army, it doesn't come across that way. It doesn't come across that way. It comes across the way that we're getting bullied and controlled by a very small, powerful, perhaps, group of people in a country called Israel. That's what I'm saying.
In 1972, the world was shocked by the Munich Olympics massacre, where Palestinian gunmen murdered 11 Israeli athletes. Israel's answer was Operation Wrath of God, a relentless campaign of targeted assassinations against the men believed responsible. In cafes, on quiet streets, even in bedrooms, the Mossad hunted them one by one. In Rome, agents shot Wael Zawader, a Palestine Liberation Organization representative, as he returned to his apartment. In Paris, Mahmoud Hamshari picked up his phone and triggered the bomb the Mossad had planted beneath it. And in Beirut, Ali Hassan Salameh, known as the Red Prince, and the senior Black September commander was killed by a massive car bomb in 1979. And when Mossad operatives in Norway killed the wrong man, an innocent waiter, in what became known as the Lillehammer Affair, the world saw that justice carried a price. To its supporters, it was the cost of striking back. To critics, it was murder without borders. Then in 1976, an Air France jet was hijacked by Palestinian and German terrorists and flown to Entebbe, Uganda. More than 100 hostages, most of them Israeli, were held inside the terminal, guarded by armed captors and protected by Ugandan dictator Idi Amin. While the world hesitated, Israel acted. And the Mossad was crucial in providing actionable intelligence. In the night of July 4th, a team of commandos flew 2,500 miles, stormed the airport terminal, and in a blistering firefight, killed all the hijackers and rescued 102 hostages. Only 3 hostages died, along with 1 commando, Lieutenant Colonel Yonatan Netanyahu, the brother of Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu.
So his brother was the only person that died on that mission on their team. Perhaps this is why
he turned.
Perhaps this is why. And I saw a comment earlier that I wanted to address. And when we think about the Jonathan Pollard, because a lot of people may not be necessarily making the connection between the Jonathan Pollard situation compared to, or with this video, Jonathan Pollard was given secrets. And I think in another documentary, I told you I went down this rabbit hole, they were talking about the things that Jonathan Pollard turned over to the Israeli government were a lot of dark secrets of American government and politicians. So when we sit back and wonder, like, damn, why are we getting bullied? Why are we allowing these people? Who has something over Trump? Who has something over? This is why. When we hear about Epstein and him being, pretty much an intel service, him being the person that's spying on Americans, getting dirt on them to blackmail our politicians. All of this stuff, when we connect these dots, it's very clear. It's very clear. To me, it's almost like if you don't want to connect these dots, it's almost like you're intentionally choosing to be ignorant. Like you're choosing to not see what's right in front of our face. Bibi Netanyahu, when we look in his eyes, you could tell that there's something deeply enraging him when it comes to the Palestinian people.
Yeah, demonic.
You could just see it. You could see it. And when you kill somebody's brother, it's no different. It's easy for us to see it when it's in Chicago and you got kids on 63rd. Cuz. That's like mad loud, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you good. But when you see it with the kids in Chicago with the gangs, you see what happens. It's no different. Somebody kills their brother, now they want to get their get back. George Bush, something happens with his dad. When he's in office, he wants to get his get back. We're seeing this reoccurring thing.
The raid shocked the world. It was bold, audacious, and surgical. A rescue mission studied in military academies to this very day. By the 1980s, Israel had survived multiple wars. It had nuclear weapons in the shadows, advanced jet fighters, and a reputation for daring covert strikes. But its appetite for secrets hadn't slowed. In 1985, America learned that its friendliest of allies could also be its most relentless spy. Jonathan Pollard was a U.S. Navy intelligence analyst. His job gave him access to America's most guarded information, classified reports on Soviet weaponry, Arab military forces, and U.S. collection methods. Pollard sold that information to Israel. Not a handful of documents, suitcases full. The CIA later called it one of the most damaging breaches in U.S. history. Caught in the act, Pollard pled guilty in 1987 and was sentenced to life in prison. Israel at first denied involvement, but eventually admitted it, that he had been working for them and even granted him citizenship while he was behind bars. For decades, Israeli politicians pressed Washington for his release. And after serving 30 years, Pollard was paroled in 2015 under strict conditions. 5 years later, once his parole ended, he moved to Israel legally, where he was welcomed not as a criminal, but as a national hero. But Pollard was only the beginning. Through the 1980s and 90s, U.S. counterintelligence repeatedly caught Israel stealing American technology, missile telemetry, F-16 blueprints, reconnaissance satellite designs, even the secrets of advanced tank cannons. A 1998 report by security scholar Duncan Clark concluded that Israel was one of the most aggressive, friendly spies the United States had ever faced. And the espionage also touched America's wallets. In 1992, U.S. companies accused Israel of stealing technology to build its own fighter jets and missile defense systems, undercutting American firms in the global arms market. Billions of dollars were at stake. Once again, Washington looked the other way. Then the dawn of the new millennium would bring new enemies and new...
Hold on, we can't just let that go. They're stealing the information on our technology, bro. This is to the point where I don't know how much longer we're gonna be covering this Israel issue. I'm being real, man. It may not be worth it. It may not be worth it.
Yeah.
You hear this stuff, and I mean, we gotta cover certain aspects. I gotta cover it. I'm just joking, but damn. Like, this stuff is heavy. I think I just saw somebody, I think Critical wrote, the rabbit hole is deep. Like, the rabbit hole is deep, and we do not grow up learning any of this. This is what bothers me so much. Like, the indoctrination is so real. Like, we have to be more responsible when it comes to our kids, what they're learning in school, what we're doing our research on as adults, us making the time to read these books, look at these documentaries, because if not, we're going to be completely lost. Mm-hmm. We're going to be voting in elections where we have absolutely no idea what we're voting for, what we can believe in. We're sitting back wondering why we support genocide and all these other things. It's very clear. We have a country that is holding us hostage via blackmail. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like until we just jump out there and have a president that's willing to say, you know what, release everything. Mm-hmm. Release everything. All the blackmail you got on us, release it all. Mm-hmm. There's some deep, dark secrets. I don't know what they are, but something is holding us hostage to Israel. Yeah. Something is holding us hostage.
Absolutely.
Wars. For the United States, it was Al-Qaeda, a shadow network that had struck at the very heart of New York and Washington. For Israel, it was the Second Intifada, an armed Palestinian uprising marked by suicide bombings, street battles, and waves of bloodshed in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Both nations framed their struggles as a war for survival. But in the fog of war, on the war on terror, the lines between friend and foe blurred once again, and the Mossad was never far from the shadows. September 11th, 2001, the darkest day in American memory. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost. As the towers burned, witnesses in New Jersey spotted something strange. 5 men filming the carnage and appearing to celebrate. Police pull over their white van, registered to a moving company. Inside were professional cameras, box cutters, thousands in cash, and multiple passports. The men, they were Israelis. The FBI held them for 71 days before quietly deporting them. No press conferences, no public explanation, just silence. Years later, on Israeli television, one of them, Oded Elner, admitted, "Our purpose was to document the event." But how did they know the towers would be attacked, with cameras ready, rolling before the world even understood what was happening? Who sent them? What exactly did they know, and why did Washington bury the story? In the years that followed, America launched 2 wars.
Hold on. Before we get into that, I want to remind people or let people know. So on September 11, 2011, this is 2 days after 9/11, the attacks, Bibi Netanyahu allegedly was quoted as saying that it's very good. Well, not very good, but it will generate immediate sympathy. We are benefiting from one thing, and that is the attack on the Twin Towers and Pentagon and the American struggle in Iraq. These events have swung American public opinion in our favor. Now, public opinion, looking at it in those days, who knows if we understood completely why it wasn't so important for them to have this sway of public opinion. But obviously now that we have more access to the information and we're seeing what's going on between Israel and Palestine, we understand how important that public opinion is. We understand how important the propaganda is. When we hear Bibi Netanyahu talking about how important it is for the influencers to be on TikTok, for the censorship to occur, to make sure that they're getting the right propaganda out to the American people, rather than what people may just be putting out on their own when they're covering the war. These are the things that we did not have during the Iraq war. These are things that we did not have access to before, when they would just tell us something on the news and we would just walk away believing it. Mm-hmm. Now we have all this. And I also want to pivot to this quick news story regarding the dancing Israelis, because a lot of people may not know exactly what that was. You may have just heard about it for the first time. So when I started to look up some stuff, I paused that video, started to look up some stuff last night on the dancing Israelis. I want to share this 2-minute clip with you guys.
Now Fox News has learned some U.S. investigators believe that there are Israelis again very much engaged in spying in and on the U.S., who may have known things they didn't tell us before September 11th. Fox News correspondent Carl Cameron has details in the first of a 4-part series.
Since September 11th, more than 60 Israelis have been arrested or detained, either under the new Patriot anti-terrorism law or for immigration violations. A handful of active Israeli military were among those detained, according to investigators, who say some of the detainees also failed polygraph questions when asked about alleged surveillance activities against and in the United States. There is no indication that the Israelis were involved in the 9/11 attacks, but investigators suspect that the Israelis may have gathered intelligence about the attacks in advance and not shared it. A highly placed investigator said there are, quote, tie-ins, but when asked for details, he flatly refused to describe them, saying, quote, evidence linking these Israelis to 911 is classified. I cannot tell you about evidence that has been gathered. It's classified information. Asked this week about another sprawling investigation and the detention of 60 Israelis since September 11th, the Bush administration treated the questions like hot potatoes.
I would just refer you to the Department of Justice with it. I'm not familiar with the report. I'm aware that some Israeli citizens have been detained. With respect to why they are being detained and the other aspects of your question, whether it's because they are in intelligence services or what they were doing, I will defer to the Department of Justice and the FBI to answer that.
Beyond the 60 apprehended or detained and many deported since September 11th, another group of 140 Israeli individuals have been arrested and detained in this year in what government documents describe as, quote, an organized intelligence gathering operation designed to, quote, penetrate government facilities. Most of those individuals said they had served in the Israeli military, which is compulsory there, but they also had, most of them, intelligence expertise and either worked for Amdocs or other companies in Israel that specialize in wiretapping. Earlier this week, the Israeli embassy here in Washington denied any spying against or in the United States.
Carl, what about this question of advanced knowledge of what was going to happen on 9/11? How clear are investigators that some Israeli agents may have known something?
Well, it's very explosive information, obviously, and there's a great deal of evidence that they say they have collected, none of it necessarily conclusive. It's more when they put it all together. A bigger question, they say, is how could they not have known? Almost a direct quote.
So when we talk about Israeli intelligence, and when you hear Ted Cruz talking about how important it is for us to have Israel as an ally because they have such good intelligence, this seems to go back to that Charlie Kirk question. And maybe I should pull up that video of Charlie Kirk when Charlie Kirk asked right after on Valuetainment, I think he was on Patrick Bet-David, and he asked, was there a stand down order? I want to remind us of that video. Let me see if I can get this video up on the screen very quickly. There we go, right here.
Need to be asked. Was there a stand down? But I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order?
Are you seeing
Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it.
Do you see
Israel's the side of New Jersey.
Are you seeing the Charlie Kirk video?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. I was making sure because it wasn't showing on mine.
I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border. It's 45 minutes. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question.
So when you think about that question that he's asking, was there a stand down order? We also know that they were informed that that Hamas was making a lot of these plans. I believe they even described the attack and how they would go about it beforehand. But then for Israel to not have any reaction for this long a period of time, you got that. You got the 9/11 questions. It's like, even if people, you're making it very hard for people not to make these assumptions and accusations against you. Especially when we look at it and then you say certain things like Bibi Netanyahu said afterwards, where it's like, this is a benefit. When you use any and everything to push your agenda, when it seems like you know the information beforehand and you're not willing to say anything because you look at the end result and see like, hey, this could eventually benefit us, so it doesn't matter how many lives have to die. It's not like we believe that you truly value life, because we see what's going on with what I believe is a genocide being committed, against the Palestinian people. It almost, I'm reminded of the question, how are you the chosen people? If God chose people, wouldn't he choose people to bring about peace rather than war? Wouldn't he choose a group of people to figure out a way to solve problems outside of war rather than to be the ones that are always looking to benefit from people dying, to benefit from demonic actions occurring? These are just some of the questions that come to mind when I think about these things. Let's keep going.
In Iraq, Israeli intelligence was among the loudest voices claiming Saddam Hussein still had weapons of mass destruction, though stockpiles never materialized. In Afghanistan, Israel shared counterterrorism tips, sometimes useful, sometimes self-serving. The Mossad had always put Israel's survival first, even if it meant nudging America into wars that benefited Israel more than the United States. And even when Washington was negotiating for peace, the Mossad was watching. In 2015, reports surfaced that Israel spied on U.S. talks with Iran over its nuclear program. Intelligence from those negotiations was allegedly passed to sympathetic lawmakers on Capitol Hill to sabotage the deal. Israel denied it, but once again, the whispers were the same. America's closest ally was also its most relentless spy. But espionage doesn't always come from the shadows. Sometimes it comes from suits and lobbyists walking the halls of Washington.
I want to ask a question because I do see a lot of people in the comments referencing the Bible. My question is, what makes you believe in the Bible as far as an explanation for certain things, but we don't believe in politicians and their explanation for things? Like we just, unless you don't believe that this is true, when you look at the Council of Nicaea and a group of politicians coming together to create what we know as the Bible now, politicians trying to use these teachings, use these scriptures, use these different books to collect them in a way to control the masses of people. I'm just wondering, like, why do we give the benefit of doubt to the politicians before to create a Bible, but we look at politicians now as evil and corrupt? Do we not think that politicians were evil and corrupt then? So when we always use these biblical justifications for what's going on, to me, it's like, well, that's no different than, me listening to Ted Cruz, give me an explanation of something that's going on. It's the politicians who were putting these books together. Now, I'm not saying that the scriptures are wrong. I'm not saying these things, but I'm just wondering what makes us give such credit to the Bible when I don't want to say it's been proven, because I don't know how we can prove that there was a Council of Nicaea. I don't know if you can prove anything that happened that we don't see, hear about, or, nothing can be proved, I guess, when you look at it like that. But my question to y'all is, do you not think that the Bible was something that was put together and comprised in a way by politicians, by people in power, used to control a group of people, not to give people truth? Like, I've never heard anybody talk about a politician and say like, hey man, I really love these politicians. Like, they're here to really just give us truth and then let us decide, what we think of it. I don't understand. And of course, and Tube Savage just wrote, there are texts before that council. Of course, there are texts before that council, but those aren't the texts that we're reading. I mean, maybe you may be reading, but the majority of texts that people are reading who are Christian or anything else, you're reading something that has almost gone through a filtration process. So when you go through a filtration process, you're not the same thing that you were when you started. When you have people constantly rewriting something, giving their translations, it's not the pure form that it was in the beginning. You can take out a word. Think about a sentence. You can have one sentence to where you take out or replace one word and it completely changed that entire sentence. It can give you the opposite to what that sentence was actually trying to say. But I'm just wondering, why do we always present the Bible as the answer for all these things if we're always going to say now that the politicians are corrupt? Were the politicians not corrupt then? So Tube Savage said incorrect. There are only texts that were removed that didn't hold weight, like the Book of Enoch. Who decides whether it holds weight or not? Tube Savage, you? What makes you say that the book doesn't hold weight? You get what I'm saying here? Like, so you're the person that decides whether or not the book holds weight. You. Or is it a politician doing it? And you said incorrect. What was incorrect about what I said? Have these scriptures not been translated? Have they not been? Why do you think there's a King James version? All these different versions. It's not pure. And we know that it was written by man in the first place. So tell me what I'm incorrect about. So translated doesn't mean change. So what does translated mean to you? BK, if I ask you to translate something, you're giving your perspective on something that it says, right? Your interpretation. And translated, there have been certain things that have been changed. And let me ask you this. Have you read all of how would you know that it hasn't been changed? Have you read all of the different versions? Have you compared and contrasted? Maybe you have. I haven't. It written by man, inspired by God. You're inspired by God, Tube Savage. The comment that you this is what I mean when it comes to religion. Get out of the clouds, my brother. Inspired by God. We are created by God. Everything that happens on this earth is inspired by God when you look at it from that lens. What makes this politician or this person in power, them writing something, more inspired by God than you writing something, BK writing something, or me writing something? Like, we gotta get out of this mindset, bro. Like, we believe in these books and these scriptures so much that we lose our connection with God. Like, God is a living being, right? God is a living being. So why would we allow man to come in and middleman our relationship with God when we can communicate with God directly ourselves? Everybody always talking about and Unc wrote, find the original books that were not put on display in the church in the early days. Why would the Vatican Church hide all those secrets in the library? I agree. See, but this is what happens. The same way that Tube Savage is trying to convince us that, well, they removed all the books that weren't important, like the Book of Enoch. The same way that Tube Savage is saying that Jesus is God. You may be right. But that type of thinking is the exact type of thinking that makes Israelis and Jewish people believe that they're the chosen people. It's just a different way of looking at it. When you are so set in your beliefs, when there's nothing that you can budge on, that is the reason why we're seeing all the killings based on religious groups throughout this world and throughout the history of our planet. It's because people get so locked in by believing that something is true because it's in a book, that they see no other, like they remove all common sense and understanding. They remove all connections to other groups of people because it creates a tribalism with them, because Tube Savage is saying Jesus is God. He won't budge on anything else. So now when somebody else, let's say they have somebody that they worship as their savior, as their God, now we just created a war. This like, I understand that you think that what you're saying is right, and you may be right. You may be right. But but all it does is create war, create tribalism, create all these things. And based on the God that I hear so many people talking about, if God really created all of us and God had all of his children, I do not think that he would want his children separated based on tribes and separated and using this separation to justify us going to war and killing each other. I don't think that's no God that I would look up to. No God that would justify those things. That's not the God for me then, perhaps. Maybe that's the God for you, cool. But the God that I want to look up to and aspire to be like, or I don't even know if the word if be like is the right thing to say, but the God that I would value is the God that actually wants peace for humanity, the God that pushes unity rather than pushing tribalism and separation, the God that doesn't say, this is the only way, you got to follow me. That's not my God, bro. I'm being honest. When you start saying this is the only way, no, everybody has their own individual path to God. Jesus had his path. When we get in this is why religion is so dangerous. Look at what Tube Savage just wrote. Jesus is the only way. The only way where? The only way where? Is there anything in life that only has one way? Jesus is the only way. All right. Well, to heaven. Well, and not everybody want to go to heaven, bro. You describe heaven to me. What's heaven like? Who else is over there? There's a lot of people in heaven that I don't rock with, based on what y'all tell me heaven is. Not everybody wants to go to heaven, bro. You're not gonna. It's like you're selling me something down the line. Not everybody believes in heaven. Not everybody wants to go to that club. Some people want to go to the R&B spot. Some people want to go to the techno spot. Some people want to go to the house. Not everybody wants to go to heaven, bro. Like it's okay. We're good, and y'all allowing a whole bunch of people in there that I don't want to be around. So I'm good on that. I don't need that invitation. Don't send me the Evite. I'm good. I don't need to go to heaven. So I don't need to justify everything in my life based on, well, what do I need to do to go to heaven? What do I need to do to go to heaven? No, I'm actually just believing in the golden rule of treating others the way that I want to be treated. And I think that that's just the way that you should do it. I don't need to behave in a certain way because I get candy promised to me if I'm a good kid in school. Oh, if you behave well, you'll get these gifts for Christmas. Your Santa Claus gonna treat you. I don't need heaven to justify me being a good human being. Perhaps some people need that. I don't need it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
No group embodies that more than AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Officially, it calls itself a domestic lobbying organization. But unlike other foreign lobbies, which must register under the Foreign Agents Registration Act, AIPAC is exempt. That special privilege means it avoids the scrutiny applied to Saudi, Chinese, or Russian influence campaigns, even in the light of scandals that would have destroyed any other group. In 2004, the FBI called
something?
Pentagon analyst Larry Frank.
What's up? I heard something.
No, I seen Clinton with the yarmulke. It was crazy. It was just interesting.
Looking crazy. All in front of his head. Yeah, you got it the wrong way. You're looking crazy.
Yeah.
You're looking crazy. So Tube Savage wrote, what is a good human being? I don't know, Tube Savage. You tell us. You tell us what a good human being is. You need to open up your book to tell us? Or do you need to, or can you just tell us freely? Like people don't realize when you believe in something this much, it's like, no wonder why it's so easy to create wars. No wonder why it's so easy to justify killing certain people, because Jesus is the only way. So anybody against Jesus, no, they're okay. Who they rock with over there? Oh, they're Muslim? They rocking with Mossad. Yeah, we can get rid of them. Matter of fact, we can get rid of them. We could take their land too, and their women. We can convert all their people, and whoever doesn't want to convert, yeah, we'll kill them. That's how. Like, is that what we're doing?
That's what's been happening.
Is that what, this is like, yo, y'all. Oh my God, bro. This whole religious stuff is insane to me.
Franklin, passing top secret information about Iran to 2 AIPAC officials. Franklin pled guilty.
You know what being a good human being to me is? So I'm going to answer the question. Since you won't answer it without scripture, I'll answer the question. A good human being is somebody that brings positivity to whoever they encounter. You bring a positivity to whoever you encounter. And the reason why I said that's my golden rule is treating others the way that I want to be treated is because most of us are selfish. The reason why you praise Christianity and you give justification as far as getting into heaven is because the people that were in power, they know that we are inherently selfish, or perhaps it's nurture, maybe it's nature, whatever. We're selfish people. So they know that they can entice us and incentivize us to do certain things if we have the promise of something good for us when we finish this race, because they know that we are selfish people. So they had to tell us, just like they got to tell kids who only care about, well, how they feel, what they want to do. Okay, well, if you behave here, you can get some candy afterwards. That's why they had to do it, because we are inherently, or we become, or in this society, however you want to call it, we are selfish individuals that care more about ourselves. So that's why that's my golden rule. I believe it's in your book as well, to treat your neighbor better than you treat yourself, right? Isn't that biblical as well? I'm not sure. I don't want to quote it word for word. But for me, it's just, I didn't need to, I'm telling you right now, I've never read the Bible. I've read different pieces. I didn't need to read the Bible to know that, hey, maybe I should treat that person the way that I'd like to be treated. Do I need scripture? Do I need somebody guaranteeing me that I get into heaven? What is heaven? What does it look like? Describe it to me. Describe it to me, Tube Savage. Like, I don't need heaven dangling in front of me to know that this mindset is what creates the evil. It opens the door for all of the evil that it has been used to create. Nobody can deny this. I bet you can't deny if people using Christianity have killed more people, and same thing with Islam, same thing with Judaism, has killed more people than anything else. Matter of fact, if we had to answer this question right now, BK, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you think that more people who are religious have killed more people, just in the history of our planet? Do you think the people who are religious have killed more people, or the people that aren't, so tied to a religion? Who do you think, if you just had to guess, has killed more people?
Hands down, landslide, religious.
So if that's the case, how is this the one that's most connected to God? To me, it seems like when we look at our planet, what is our country made up of? What is our world made up of? It's made up of the most vicious people that use religion in order to conquer and colonize different areas. That's what this world is made up of today. So when we look around and wonder how we could justify certain things happening around the world, it's because the people in power, they got to their powerful positions by using religion to kill, to rape, to pillage, to colonize. All of the people that perhaps weren't as tied to their religion, or perhaps didn't want to use their religion in order to take over and colonize other people. They were just cool with just living their lives, having their spiritual connection to God, and that be that. But you think that because you're a part of a large group where all of y'all buy into this made up thing of, oh, well, if I do this, then I'll get into heaven. You think that you're a good person. Your religion has killed more people than any other thing on the planet, but you think that you're a good person because you subscribe to that religion. And then we say, well, people just used it in a bad way. Well, where's all the good folk? If those are the anomalies, the people that use it in a bad way, where are all the good people?
That's the one for me.
It's like, yo, this is insane, bro.
That's the one for me. I never will understand if there's always like we don't want to generalize, as we say to this day, like all black people ain't the same or all Jews aren't like this. We always understand that, but like constantly in history, I'm always seeing the small radical group of people have a louder voice than all the people that are not affiliated with the radical thought process. So it's just like, how are the 5 people, or how is that one bad apple spoiling the entire bunch? But it's just like, how are we letting that happen if we feel so strong in the beliefs to begin with? So I do wonder that.
It's BS, bro, because people are cowards, because people are followers, because people are insecure, because people develop a mindset where what Tube Savage just said, I know I'm a bad and evil person and need a savior. How about you save yourself, brother? How about you save yourself? Stop relying on another man or another being to save you. Why don't you take it upon yourself, hold yourself accountable? Because isn't that what Christ did? Stop trying to use Christ, and why don't you be more Christ-like? Isn't that what Christianity is supposed to teach us, to be Christ-like? We can grow up wanting to be like Mike, wanting to be like LeBron. We can have the least athletic kids in the world where their parents and them all believe they're going to be the next LeBron James. But you telling me we can't be more Christ-like? It's because people are cowards. People would rather place accountability on another person, another being, and making them the best person that they are, rather than us just doing it ourselves, rather than us just raising our standards. Would we fall back to the whole victim stuff? I know I'm a bad and evil person. That's why I need a savior. Well, if you're such a bad and evil person, why do you deserve to get into heaven? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. This is crazy. This is wild. This is wild, bro. This is wild. Christ consciousness is not in the Bible. Yeah, Tube Savage, I'm not surprised by that. You want to know why? Because Jesus never said to write a Bible. Jesus never gave instructions to write a Bible. They wrote the Bible 30 to 40 years after Jesus was already died. Where were all those people? Instead of writing the Bible, why didn't you do something to get him off the cross? How about that? I don't understand people just need something to buy into. This is why people join frats. This is why people join sororities. This is why people join all these clubs. This is why people join gangs, because y'all are insecure. And this is why it's so important to have a strong father in your life. So maybe you won't be looking externally for that other father that you call your father. Have an actual strong father in your life, and maybe you won't get indoctrinated by all this made up tooth fairy make-believe stuff to where you feel like you got to live a certain way so you can guarantee yourself getting into heaven. I don't even think about heaven. I don't even think about heaven. I think about right now on earth, right now. What can I do I'm about to get off this show and speed out to my parents to help them move in. That's my father who I'm serving. I'm not serving any father, some made up make-believe thing that y'all have created because you're insecure and you need a reason for why we're here and a reason for why this was created and a justification, and you want to buy into this book because you want to get to heaven. I don't care about that, bro. I'm trying to make my parents, improve my parents' lives. I'm trying to serve my family. I'm trying to build with BK. We get caught up in this goofy way of thinking, this goofy way of living, and all it does is make us more easier indoctrinated, believing in certain things. When you believe in it, that means you don't know. You believe it. You believe it. Can't prove it. Tell me what heaven's like. What's heaven like? Come on, bro. Y'all need to stop with this stuff, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous because it's misguiding our next generation of kids. It's misguiding people. We are such a weak group of people that we just fall victim to what anybody says because we just don't feel comfortable standing on our own 10 toes by ourselves with our family. It's always got to be something else bigger. Oh, I got to get into heaven. I got to, like what? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
The officials were indicted for conspiring to receive national defense information. But after years of legal wrangling, the charges were dropped. AIPAC walked free, and the line between lobbying and espionage blurred into nothing. But betrayal wouldn't stop in the boardroom or the back room. In the digital age, it would come straight into our phones. The 21st century changed the battlefield. Wars were no longer fought just with tanks and jets, but with malware, spyware, and information itself. And once again, the Mossad was in the thick of it. In 2010, the world discovered a computer virus like no other, Stuxnet. It crippled Iran's nuclear centrifuges with surgical precision. Many believe...
I gotta, Tube Savage is giving me too much today. LOL, you spew atheism and Islamic arguments about the Bible. What is an Islamic argument? You see how easy it is for you to become tribal? What's an Islamic argument? What's an Islamic argument about the Bible? Because the last I checked, Muslims actually hold Jesus Christ in very high regards. So what's an Islamic argument about the Bible? You spew atheism. What's atheism? The belief that God doesn't exist, right? Let me look up the definition of atheism, because I'm being accused of certain things, and I just want to make sure that I'm being accused the right way. Atheism. Atheism has been defined as the absence of belief that any deities exist. This broad definition would include newborns and other people who have not been exposed to theistic ideas. So is it safe to say that atheism is the belief in a powerful being, like in a God, like the belief in God? How about this? I believe I am a God. I believe that we're all gods. I believe that we all have a light within us that if we choose to act on it, we can maximize our potential and live godly lives. That's what I truly believe. I believe that I am who I come from. So just like I am certain parts of my mother, certain parts of my father, who really believes in God? You or me? Because I believe that God put something in me that makes me look internally rather than you and people that think like you who always want to look externally for a God. Why don't you become your own God? So therefore you can impact others around you in a godly manner. And so we're not just sitting here while we see genocides occurring, saying that we're Christian, but we're just sitting over there looking at these genocide happening with a bunch of people, and all we're doing is typing on a keyboard about our beliefs in religion. Stop it, bro. Stop it. This mindset is exactly what. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
It was a joint U.S.-Israeli operation, with the Mossad providing the target lists. It was proof that Israel's spies had evolved from assassins and saboteurs into cyber warriors. But cyber weapons are a double-edged sword. In 2021, the U.S. Commerce Department blacklisted Israeli companies NSO Group and Kinduru for selling spyware used against American diplomats, journalists, and even officials. Their most infamous creation, Pegasus, could turn any smartphone into a pocket spy, listening through the microphone and pulling every message and file without the user ever knowing. Sold under the banner of counterterrorism, Pegasus was found in the hands of authoritarian regimes and turned against America's own. It was aimed at journalists, dissidents, even billionaires. Investigators found that associates of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi were hacked with Pegasus in the months before his brutal murder inside the Saudi consulate. His friends' phones became open windows, feeding everything they said and wrote to hostile governments. To many, it looked like spyware had become a death warrant. Even Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, wasn't safe. After a message from Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman landed on his WhatsApp, forensic analysts believe Pegasus was used to break into Bezos' phone. His private data was stolen. So if the owner of Amazon can be hacked with a text, what chance does anyone else have? Once again, Washington drew a line with China, Russia, and Iran. But when the spyware came from Israel, the response was quieter, softer, cautious. To some, it looked like the same double standard that had followed the Mossad for decades. Critics will say, but America does the same thing. And they're right. The CIA toppled governments in Iran, Guatemala, and Chile. It ran illegal experiments under MK Ultra. It spied on Americans during Vietnam and Watergate. Intelligence agencies lie, cheat, and steal. That's their nature. But here's the difference. When the CIA gets caught, Americans call it a scandal. When the Mossad gets caught, Washington shrugs. Jonathan Pollard steals thousands of classified documents, and decades later, Israel celebrates him as a hero. Israel attacks an American ship, kills 34 sailors, and the US calls it a mistake. Israeli spyware hacks American diplomats, and instead of sanctions, there are excuses. Why the double standard? Why is one ally above accountability? Let me be clear. America and Israel share deep Judeo-Christian ties, and I support the state of Israel and its right to exist. But supporting Israel doesn't mean turning a blind eye when its intelligence service betrays America's trust. No ally should be above accountability. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below.
I'm gonna go to you, Glad. I've been talking for a while.
Nah, I mean, there's definitely some. It's clear there, like we said, it's clear there's something behind the scenes. There's some. There's something, but I think it's clear. It's very clear, and I'm just interested to know what they got, because whatever they got is powerful. Whatever they got on America is powerful. It's a very, very, very powerful thing. And I'm interested to know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something significant.
Yeah, to have them in a position where it's just looking crazy. Like the refs look like they throwing the game. This ain't regular. And it's looking like cats ain't even really, they not tripping. So as much as we get into these rabbit holes, nope, it ain't like, oh, y'all found out, okay, now, like, it's not that they cool with it, because now they got to come up with answers that aren't fitting to our questions. But whatever that they got them behind, it's got them in a position where they cool with American people putting these things together as well too.
Yeah,
because that's what's happening now. People are starting to correlate these things and starting to see the connection and just questioning, like, yo, why this going on again? And then now we're starting to have answers. And you know, the first thing that an individual does when you call certain things out, you can tell whether or not there's something going on based on how defensive they get. You know, so when you see, it's just like when I do these podcasts sometimes and we're talking about, you know, relationships or something of that nature. It's like when you start seeing things that could potentially fit the people that you're speaking about, you don't necessarily have to ask them directly. You can tell by that dynamic that ends up happening when you state something in general. And they kind of, it's almost like inadvertently or subconsciously raising your hand because you're triggered by certain things that we haven't directly correlated to you. So I think it's very interesting to see how, you know, America has just put let's not say these politicians have constantly put us on a pedestal and have always, you know, caused us to believe that we ain't taking nothing from nobody. We the big bros on the corner. We ain't on none of that. Like, we stand on business. Iran, we ain't having that. Let's go over there. We getting that out of there. We're like, y'all made it like y'all was constantly showing us that y'all was the big bro in so many situations. And then we have this situation and we not seeing big bro energy. And so now it's just like, I want y'all to know how crystal clear it is to y'all who big bro is in this situation. And we want to know why. Oh, my, you can still hear me, Clay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna keep talking, but we just want to know why, because it puts us in a position now when we're confused about why y'all not trying to be big bro in this situation. Why y'all got to go to the Middle East and be big bro? Why y'all got to be big bro in Palestine? Like, why y'all got to be big bro in Iran? Why y'all got to be big bro in all these places? but y'all don't want to be big bro over there. Where the energy at? Where the energy you're supposed to have? Where the energy you're supposed to have, and we're expecting, big bro. So we want to see, we want to know why. We want to know what they got, and whatever got y'all like this, we want to know why they got it. Why y'all was moving funny to even allow cats to even get this type of position on y'all? What kind of deal y'all had to take? So what's been swept under the rug? Why was it swept under the rug? When you see things like Candace Owen posted yesterday, she was posting some things where I guess they've been trying to attack her, obviously, right? And they were mentioning blackmail. They were like, I'm really tired of Candace Owens. If she keeps speaking and people start doing research, they're going to figure out about, I believe, like money being sent to certain people in certain campaigns, and we don't want that. We got to get rid of her, et cetera, et cetera. And so this is the type of behavior, this is the type of stuff that needs to be exposed. We can't have these children, these kids. We can't keep hoping that this country can continue to be built on skeletons, on skeletons in people's closets, and off of lobbying and things of that nature. It's like this foundation is bad. Just like you said with a lot of this religion, a lot of the foundation is bad, and it's not what becomes the true divide here in these situations. And I'm glad I'm able to even listen to the different styles of people's perspective, is that the people that are raising their hand to the issues tend to be met with more friction than the people that are causing the problem.
Say that again. Say that again. Say it 2 more times.
And I see.
Nah, for real. Say it again, because I want people to. Nah, for real. Really say that again.
Sure I can say it back, but I notice when we get in, when people are in a position of perspective, especially when people have their strong stance in what their beliefs are, we tend to have more of a energy, more of a compelling need to make sure that certain people that are not responsible for the behaviors, why are they met with that much more explanation, conversation, thoroughness? You want to make sure that they clear, make sure that they know all these things. But where was that energy when somebody was doing this in the name of politics, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Islam? Like, where is this energy that is so easily to cast on the people that will never be responsible for 100% of the things that are upsetting you in your belief system? But why are we not at the other people's neck for that? Why is it always, we easily come with a saying or a quote to say why we should just leave? Oh, that's not us though. But why are you letting it happen? That's not what I believe in. That's not the same Bible. But why are you letting these people use your belief as a vessel to bring this negativity? It's not that we letting people utilize religion, politics to do this funny behavior, and we're not aware of it. We are questioning why they have so much free range to do it. Bad people can be like bad people, or people that do these type of manipulative behaviors aren't the smartest people in the world. Like, we treat them like they're gods, like they're just not allowed to be pressed. They're not allowed to be spoken to. We just need to ignore them, be the higher person. Like, why? Why we can't check this behavior? Why we can't have this energy? Why we can't go into the people that are doing things that are tarnishing the belief system? When I hear people have a hard time getting to religion, I want the people that are religious to take a front seat and a driver's seat to what has been done to your religion, and have the strength to push back on the people that have caused it to look such way. We are not choosing to be against the religion. We are questioning why the bad things are continuing to happen because we want to hold the people that are affiliated with the group accountable to push back against it. We just want them to step up the way that they want to step up to you, the way that they want to show you a verse, the way they want to tell you we're wrong. We just want to we would just want you to take the Bible and take it to the people that's doing wrong. So we can see by experience, kind of like you said, we want to see it the way Jesus did it. We saw him do his thing. That's why there's so much belief in him. You think if he was just talking the way a lot of people are talking, this religion would have made it this far? It's no way. He not Biggie. He ain't Tupac. He ain't on the stage with a microphone just giving you lyrics. He was walking a certain way that to this day we hold so sacred. So we know the power of execution. We know the power of deliberately showing people the path. We know the power of sacrifice publicly. We see how it made people to believers for centuries and centuries after. But now in 2025, the best we can do is just tell somebody, nah. Like, you're not going to save people if you truly care about others spreading the gospel and making sure that people feel the joy and the peace and the love that comes in the compassion with your religion. Then why don't we continue to fight these negative things, or these demons, or these people that are dressed in these sheep's clothing? Why don't we fight them with the same friction that they are trying to fight us with? Why do we always take the route of, oh, nah, don't let that, don't be manipulated? Sorry, have you looked at history? It happens all the time. You can't keep telling people don't be manipulated. They don't know. Look at us. Look at America. Look at Israel. What you mean don't be manipulated? Y'all been sending manipulation. We just got here. We just now checking Israel. We've been manipulated. It ain't that easy. I know some of us think our minds are that strong, but until you start doing research, history, start correlating certain things, nah, you can get played. Hello, America, lying to its people. So let's not make it seem like that it's just such an easy road to be like, you have to be strong, ignore this. Nah, you can't. It's not that easy. And not everybody along this path is going to be as strong as you. So I think it's important that we meet the people that we need to meet with the same intensity that they want to come. If Netanyahu wants to come with that type of energy, then we have to meet him there. We have to meet him there. These Nat Turners, these revolts, these slavery revolts that's happened in the past, women fighting for their rights, they wasn't met with just sending scriptures. They was met with action. Nothing has changed in American history unless it was based on some type of action. And it wasn't comfortable.
I saw a comment that Dutch wrote that Christians are goofy and hella quiet in real life. Now, I do think that, now obviously, let me just address it. There's some dope Christians that I know that I think are amazing people. But I understand what you're saying, Dutch. I do understand what you're saying. I think the overall concept of all this, how we buy into it, it can become very goofy. What I say is goofy is that you got a God, you got people that are violating your God's number one commandment, violating your God. And Christian energy seems to be, it's almost like, you know how Israel feels like they can stand tall because they got the backing of America? I see a whole bunch of Christians that their energy is only strong and you're only willing to be real fierce when it comes to you supporting Israel. But you never have that energy when it comes to checking Israel. And I think that's what you're talking about, BK. When you see what Bibi Netanyahu's doing in Israel, and you got people that are saying, and I think somebody wrote in the comment earlier, that they're the Ted Cruz's of the world using an interpretation of scripture, because it does not say to bless Israel in the Bible. I believe it's God talking to Abraham and saying, hey, I'll bless those who bless Abraham, or those that are good to you, I'll be good to. I looked at, hold on. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. Well, I would actually assume that that's the case for any individual running around. I'm assuming I feel the same way about BK. You know, when you become a blessing to somebody, it's energy. When you give somebody positive energy, you typically get positive energy in return. When you do bad on this planet, the way that energy works, you tend to receive bad back on this planet. So I don't know what anybody's interpretation of how this got turned into support Israel by any means. And if I wanted to get into heaven, I got to support everything that Israel's doing. I don't know where it got to that point. But when you believe in something so much and you use it to justify any type of actions, and you buy into the interpretation of so many people that are using it for their personal interest and their personal gain, like a Mike Huckabee or a Ted Cruz or a lot of these other pastors are using it, you end up in a position where you start to justify certain things that have no reason to be justified. And all you do is sit back, you hold your Bible, and while there's a genocide being committed, if you really believe in your God, what's stopping you from going over there to Israel and saying, hey, we got to stop this? Your job? So now your 9 to 5 is your God, not God, right? So what is stopping you from standing up for people that are clearly violating your God's commandments? That's what I'm asking. If you believe, show me that you believe in it so much. You're going to get into heaven. So it's not like you're scared about risking your life, because as soon as you pass away, you're going into somewhere amazing. So what's stopping you from going out there and standing on your principles that your God said is the number one commandment of thou shalt not kill, right? What's stopping you from preventing all of these human beings, God's children, from being killed? What's stopping us all? If you believe in the scriptures, if you believe you go into heaven.
Oh, I got a good one for you, Dad.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was speaking about this yesterday because, you know, I get onto these tangents as well, and this one's going to be good. But I find it interesting that the people that are constantly reminding us that they're God's people so happen to need allegiance or alliances with other people to support that. But I also noticed the people that are currently under attack of a genocide believe in their God, and they willing to do whatever it is, stand on business. You know what I mean?
No, repeat it again. Repeat the first part.
So it's interesting to me how God's people are doing anything and everything to remind us that they're God's people. But whoever the people in the Middle East, in Palestine are, whatever they believe in, has them doing whatever for centuries and continue to fight and protect what they believe in, their land, etc. Even if the odds are against them, their God has them willing to stand on business, knowing that they don't have the firepower to go against these people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it seems like, how is their God put them in a position where they're standing and they're willing to die for what they have? But y'all's God got y'all doing anything and everything under the sun to convince us that you're God's people.
Right.
Whatever God
those people,
whatever God's they're believing in has them acting that they believe in something after this life. Whatever God y'all believe in got y'all acting a particular way in this life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting to see, like, I don't know what you're believing in, but for some reason, your belief in whoever you believe in seems to not be strong enough to be willing to put your neck on it. But we see people that we call terroristic, right? What they believe in, they're ready to put up, they're ready to 9/11 the situation. That was their belief. Mm-hmm. And look what they did. But then in the same speech, who we got spinning block in their belief other than them? It's always them who's, like you said, labeled as radical, but like, how is their radical behavior got them believing this way where they like, it's up. I'm supposed to sacrifice my life. That's who I believe in. Like, look how they operate. They operate like they believe in something. And whatever God, or people will say they believe in something demonic, whatever they believe in has compelled them, men, women, children, that is up for anybody who don't believe in what they believe in. But I don't see that similar character in other religions, which causes me to believe that you don't have faith, you have fear in your religion. Mm-hmm. And there can't be space for that, because when you guys compare how your religion is moving to other people's and how they stand on business for their religion, they willing to die on it every time, but y'all willing to text about it every time.
Yo, people go harder. I'm with you 100%. People go so hard defending Christianity, but never go as hard when it comes to actually being Christ-like. Like you'll go against what I say and defend your words and defend your words. Yo, show me. Go show me, bro. Go show me how God has inspired you to walk out of your 9-to-5 and go save some lives. I will follow that. I'll respect that. But when you're just sitting back saying, well, this is Jesus, this is, bro, I'm not moved by words, bro. I'm not moved by words. I'm not moved by a book. I can be moved by a book. I can read it, take different lessons from it. But I'm not moved by a book thinking that this is the way that God told me to live. I'm not moved by that. I'm not moved by any of that. And I just think that, just from a common sense standpoint, has religion done more harm than good on this planet? Has religion done more harm than good? When we think about the conflicts that we have on this planet, the conflicts that we've had for a while, they were either used to justify religion, fighting about whose religion is worse, or it being used to colonize certain people. Like, has religion done more harm than good? Why is religion the only thing that we can't look at from that standpoint and just say, hey, is this working for us or is this working against us?
Can we bring that one back on the table?
Yeah, like, can we let's just talk about it from that standpoint. Everybody's creating something, but then saying that there's only one God, and we're having the people that believe that there's only one God, those are the people fighting the most against each other. It's just a bad setup. It's just a bad setup. Like, and Skeeg, shout out to Skeeg, he just said, believe in what you want to believe. They try to force you into a box. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Maya wrote, hold on. They are fighting for their people because they have no choice aside from religion. So that's based on, I think, what you were talking about earlier, as far as like the Palestinians fighting for, their people because they have no choice.
Yeah, I stand corrected in that.
Look, if I know that I was sitting in church on Sunday, and a part of me, I was just sitting there and I'm like, damn, there's a lot of people that need religion.
Yeah.
And I don't say that in a way where it's me saying, let me try to explain.
I think I know.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at people and I'm like, yo, you really believe that you need religion.
Yeah.
Like, you believe that this is your way. Like, it seems like they can't put one foot in front of the other without giving credit to Jesus or without thinking that it's God in control of everything. Yeah. And then we'll have the whole free will conversation. That's a different topic. But I'm just looked at it and I'm like, wow. Like, just because I may not feel that I need religion to have morals and principles, there's a lot of people who really, that's what their entire existence, a lot of people just need it. So I don't want to bash it, but it just gets to a point where, when we have these conversations, we have to get to a point where we can be honest and say, like, hey, is this working for me? Like, if I'm struggling with porn addiction, I have to ask myself eventually, like, hey, is this working for me? If I'm struggling with certain behaviors that are causing me to act out or act in a certain way that's not conducive for me being successful or is negatively impacting the people that are around me, the people that I care about, at a certain point, I have to ask myself, is this working for me? If I'm getting out of shape and developing terrible health conditions, from me living a particular lifestyle, I have to ask myself, is this working for me? Is there going to be a certain point that humanity just simply asks, like, hey, is religion working for us? When we look overall at humanity, when we just look at the last 600, 700,000 years, is religion working for humanity? Are we allowed to ask that? Is it working for us? Because I think that that's what God would want us to ask. Like, hey, is this working for us? How can are we becoming our best versions by relying on this? Or do we need to incorporate something else? Is this working for us? That's the only question that I ask. Man, I'm spent, bro. And I gotta go help my parents, man.
They got the joint. They start moving in this week.
Yeah, the crib just got renovated.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
Oh,
funny.
Man, it's a dope crib. Yeah, I hope they enjoy their time there as long as possible. Inshallah. Well, I'm just saying, God willing, you know what I'm saying? God.
He gonna get his shit off.
Yo, I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying, man. I'm just here for the people, bro. I just want to be a vessel. I want to be a vessel for the people, bro.
Yo, he put this tie on the politic this morning for real.
Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, man. I Holly wrote spirituality is God, your personal relationship with God, not because you wear a skirt to your ankles. I agree. It's your personal relationship with God. So perhaps if it's our personal relationship with God, they'll leave that with you and God. You ain't got to be out here trying to convince certain people, trying to justify killing certain people because of your religion. Like, I don't buy into it. I look at everything as, hey, is this working for you? There's a lot of people that smoke weed and believe that it helps them. You know, it helps them with different health ailments, but there's a lot of other people where it doesn't help you. So therefore, maybe you should not buy it. Is this helping us or is it hurting us? That's how I look at stuff. That's how I look at stuff. So,
that's a good way to look at it.
Overall, is alcohol overall, is it helping us or is it, well, some people may think it helps them, but overall it's impacting the majority of us in a negative way. Let's get rid of it. I don't know. I'm just looking at it when it comes down to killing people. And, the results of drugs may be a bit different than the result of Netanyahu justifying defending his country. You know,
the fact that you have to explain this is crazy.
I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, man. I'm good, bro. You got anything else?
Nah, get out of here. Go help your parents move,
bro. Let's break it down. Let's do us a favor. Like we're gonna still do our breathing exercise. We definitely need to do breathing today. So we're gonna go through 4 rounds of box breathing. Like. This is the most important part of the show. And I want us to keep that in mind, though, man. I want us to keep that in mind. And shout out to Tube Savage. This is why I enjoy. We should have a space where we can have these conversations. This is how I want us to look at things. If it's okay with y'all, this is how I'm going to look at things. And if you care to embrace it, then feel free. Is this helping humanity or hurting humanity? I just want to leave it at that. Is it helping humanity or is it hurting humanity? So we're going to do this box breathing. Maybe that's something that we could think of as we're doing our breathing. Choose to think about whatever it is that you want to think about. But we're going to do a 4-second inhale in which we're inhaling positive energy. Then we're going to do a 4-second hold. And then we're going to do a 4-second exhale, which we're releasing a lot of the negative energy. And by that 4th cycle, we're going to get all that negative energy out of our system and just be on positivity. All right, that's going to be the frequency that we're flowing on. So with that, if you're in a quiet place, feel free to close your eyes, do whatever's best for you. And let's escape for a little bit. Let's escape and concentrate on breathing as we begin our inhale for 4 seconds. Ready, begin. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. All right, on this next exhale, keep holding. On this next inhale, really concentrate on inhale on the positive energy. Ready, go. Hold. Keep holding. And on this last exhale, we're going to make sure that we're releasing all that negative energy, all that limited energy, all that resentment that we may have built up, whatever it may be. Release it now. Hold. All right. All right. Lower that blood pressure. All right. Everybody should be feeling a bit better, more positive. We want to make sure that we have a positive outlook. All right. So no matter our back and forths, we are family. Shout out to Tube Savage for being willing to share his thoughts in this entire conversation. It's appreciated because when people are not willing to share their conversations, it's hard for us to even, process and weigh out, and have realistic progress if we're not even willing to have the conversation. So definitely want to shout you out for that. It's appreciated, and I really mean that wholeheartedly. All right. Y'all know we come here to do elevate on purpose, challenging our standards to become the best leaders we can become and the best followers we can become. All right. The best leaders and the best followers, whatever our role that we take on that's required to be the best in that role. That's what I hope that we can really lean into, and also challenging ourselves to become the best that we can become, to learn every day. I always hear talking about learning something new every day. We should definitely take heed to that, how we can grow into the people that we need to grow into. So perhaps when we're looking at a lot of these goals that are very big, climbing these mountains, perhaps we'll look at them with more confidence and with a realization that we can do better in a lot of these areas of life. So we got to make sure that we're always growing, sharpening our tools and skills, strengthen honor, onward and upward. Let's make sure that we're getting to that bag. Let's make sure that we're moving with the trajectory that's going to allow us to live in our purpose as we strive for purposeful abundance, to make that impact on this world that we like to call our personal legend. Let's make sure that we're moving as efficiently as possible. We got a limited time on here, limited time while we're here. So let's make sure that we're maximizing it to the best of our ability. All right, so what's in my bag? The things that I like to focus on that serve as my compass, my guardrails, my North Star: peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything we do, integrity. And of course, we got to have a balance. So BK, carry us out.
Great discussion. I think these are the discussions that are very important. Obviously, we're dealing with a topic that is also close to our hearts, regardless of what side of the fence you are. But if we get to a place where we choose to not have this type of dialogue, then we're never able to or capable of getting that weight off and seeing things differently, which I always think is going to be important. So I love that we can share that on this channel. This channel is definitely be a platform, regardless of gender, race, status, regardless of what you believe in, not believe in. We want to continue to have a place where people can, almost like a think tank, where you can just kind of get it off, test it, get people's opinion. But at the end of the day, our morals and our moral compass and what our objective here at the OG Network is positive ultimately. So the discussions can go however they need to go in order for us to move forward. And so I love that we're able to be our authentic selves. We're able to be raw, transparent. I know Dak put on the political tie today, but look, he didn't feel the need to try to be political. He was being honest and true, and that's what we got to continue to do. So one more day until that turkey gets laid down in that grill. So I'm looking forward to it. And I got the lobster mac. I'll definitely take some photos, have Dak put them on the YouTube so y'all can see my cooking steps. We might start a cooking chapter. Maybe me and your brother or something,
I've been telling them if you can get them to.
Yeah, it might be a little something like that. But needless said, shout out to all the viewers. from across the pond, near and far. And then, we'll be right back at it tomorrow.
Yeah. And one thing that I do want to finish off with just is saying that no matter what we believe in, no matter what we subscribe to, I think what's most important is us understanding in all these conversations and constantly reminding ourselves that there's debates that people have to justify and to rationalize violence. And there's also debates that people will have in order to hopefully just move us to a better place. When it comes to the debates to justify violence, I don't want to be in those conversations. And I think that that's much different than the debates that we can hopefully have here, which is just remaining or keeping that foundation that, hey, we all want us to do better as humanity. We all want to live in peace and harmony. And we're just trying to figure out the best way to get to that point. So I definitely want to just leave us with that. And super appreciative of everybody. You know, I'm looking at all these comments and it's just funny. And even with the smoking comments, do what works for you. Do what works for you. Whatever you need to do in order to become the best version of yourself and to bring positivity to this world, then let's lean into that. So that's all you got for me. On that note, we shall see y'all tomorrow, 8 a.m. All right?
Peace.
Yeah.